Ready to continue our conversation about what it takes to make a nonprofit? And are you curious about some of the legal pitfalls of playing around with AI in your business? Stay tuned. Welcome to the WorkHARDaholics Show with your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Hello, 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 and welcome back to WorkHARDaholics. I am Shirley Crawford, your host, the original WorkHARDaholic. Okay, so there's so much going on. So there are two things I really want to share with you all today. I'm going to start with continuing our conversation about starting a nonprofit organization. So if you were with us last week, which of course you were, then we talked about, do you really even want to start a nonprofit, right? And so if you're going, oh my God, is she saying I shouldn't start a nonprofit? That means you weren't with us last week. So go back and find that wherever you can and check that out. Today, I really want to start the discussion of what does it mean to get the ball rolling, right? So I'll start off with the basic information on the process. If you want to know more, somewhere out there, I have an actual class on this. Um, I'll dig it up and try to attach it. But if not, keep checking back or remind me, DM me, send me messages, and we'll be sure to get that information to you or make it available to you. So here's the thing about that nonprofit. As we shared last week, you don't own it, it's not yours. It's like having a foster child as opposed to adopting or having your own children. Okay. You don't own it, it's not yours, and you have to set it up as such. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you got to legalize this whole situation. Now, before the whole legalization, you really do need to think through, does anyone need this organization? Like, why are you doing it? Is there another organization out there that already exists? I touched on that a little bit last week, so I'm not going to get too heavily into that, but that's really where the mind, the gears should be shifting and thinking and processing. Okay. Beyond that, once you really believe that no one is doing exactly what you're thinking about, or there's no one to partner with, or that you have this mission, this goal, this vision, and it must be done by you, once you've gotten that, and you know that's for sure, and you've really figured out that this really is a not for profit organization. So, once again, last week we talked about what that means, not getting into all that right now. First thing you have to do is legalize the business. As I always say, as someone who is certified nonprofit organization management, run several nonprofits, have several nonprofits even now. There's a lot that goes into the whole business of a nonprofit. And the thing I always share is that a nonprofit is a business that does good. So, first and foremost, it is a business. It means that it has to bring in income, it has expenses, it has things that have to be run, taken care of. You have to understand IRS regulations, you have to understand your local state regulations. There's a lot you have to know. And the thing I point that out and start there because I always think it's best when you know all the pitfalls, right? You know the landmines, you know the issues, you know all that stuff so that you can get to the good stuff, to the happy feelings of helping children in Haiti, which is what my business does, my nonprofit does. Or you can help, in whatever way that you see fit, get through this section first. Okay? So, part of that, the first thing, as I said, is the legalization. So, you have to register with your local state corporation commission. If you are in a country other than United States of America, I'll tell you now, I am not as informed about how you all get businesses started, but I can tell you here. So if you are a foreign entity trying to do business here in the state with a nonprofit, or you are an actual resident business located in the United States of America, including, of course, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, etc., this means YOU. Okay, so you get legal. You're going to go to your local state corporation commission. You're going to register. Generally speaking, if you're registering, it is not as an LLC. It's normally a standardized corporation. If you have questions about that, you can let me know, or you can talk to your clerk at your clerk's office for your state corporation commission. Once you have done that lovely piece, yeah, there's actual paperwork just for you becoming a nonprofit, not for profit. All right. And so there's a lot for you to know. Every nonprofit is not a 501c3. There are clubs, there are associations, there are actually political nonprofits, but it's a very specialized area. And the reason why that's significant for you is because as a nonprofit, you are actually not allowed, unless you are certified as such, you're not allowed to address lobbyists. You're not allowed to politic. All right. Your nonprofit has to be a standalone do-good association without a political purpose. If you are a standard, not politically attached nonprofit. So you need to know that. All right. You need to know that up front because there are so many ways that you can lose your nonprofit status and you haven't even gotten it yet. So we need you to once again know the pitfalls, now know the landmines, know all this information. So you're going to file with your state corporation commission. Then you're going to get your EIN, employer identification number, right? Which I always say is the social security number for your business. And then after you have that, you're going to file with the IRS, right, to get your nonprofit status. And if you have been in existence for some time, or if you're a spinoff of another organization, you are considered to be a little more complex. And so you're going to have to go for the standard application. But the IRS understands that there are a lot of you out there who are doing great things and you just got started. There's nothing complicated about it. You are very clearly defined as a nonprofit organization. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. But if you are, then you can actually file the express form, right? The easy application for your not-for-profit, your nonprofit organization, which is wonderful because for eons, I've had people wait for years to get nonprofit status. Now, and now they've gotten past the COVID hump, they've gotten past all that, and they're saying that their turnaround time is 60 days or less. I just put in another nonprofit for someone, so I'll let you know if it actually comes back in 60 days or less. But that's what they're touting, that's what they're saying, that's what they're stating. All right. So if you're out there and you're like, I really want to help rabbits in the forest live longer lives, I don't know what your nonprofit is about. Now is a great time, a great season for you to think about applying for that process. Want to learn more? Stay tuned after this commercial break, and we'll be right back. Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA.
Life can be a struggle. Find hope, healing, and answers at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place to encounter God through uplifting worship, singing, prayer, the preach word, and fellowship. One step can change your life. One step could shift your destiny. There has never been a better time to take that step than now. Come be our guest every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place where you belong.
Ladies, are you ready for an afternoon of tea, networking, and inspiration? Join us for the annual Boss Ladies Who Tea event happening on July 15th at Meadowbrook Country Club. Sip on specialty teas, connect with like-minded women, and hear from guest speakers. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, so don't wait. Just search Boss Ladies Who Tea and get your tickets today. You don't want to miss this exclusive event. Thank you once again to all of those individuals who make this show possible. Okay, so what we've been discussing is continuing the conversation about how you start a not-for-profit organization. As I said last week, we talked about, are you sure you want to? Yeah, that's last week's conversation. This week, we're talking about, okay, you're convinced, you know you're going to do a nonprofit, what happens next? So we just finished talking through the first few steps, right? And the steps themselves are actually pretty straightforward. Once again, you got your idea, you're going to go file at your state corporation commission, you're going to get your EIN, you're going to file with the IRS. Now, within that, there's some other things that have to be created, but I'm going to tell you a secret. You really don't have to get that deep into these other things.
Normally, someone who is a consultant, a lawyer, someone who wants your money will play up these other things, but they don't have to be that deep. So, in order to file, even with the state corporation commission, you have to have your articles of incorporation. And really, these are just your bylaws. This is just what says this is who we are, this is what we do, this is, what we're going to accomplish. In all honesty, if you don't have articles of incorporation, most states will give you a generic template. And all you have to put in is the name of the business, the purpose of the organization, who are your board members. Every state, every area has different rulings about that. So, like for Virginia, you only have to have two people, one, two, uno, dos, to start a board. And that may or may not seem significant to you, but it will if your board is firing you and you don't know what happened. It normally starts there, right? So, but let me go back to the Articles of Incorporation. You can find tons of generic versions. You can use the generic versions that your state has. But here is the piece that you have to have when it's time to file with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Doo, doo, doo. You have to have a couple of different statements in there. And this is gold, people. I need you to listen. This is going to save you all those extra consultation fees, even with me. I want you to know, I want you to grow, I want you to have your do good businesses. Okay? So, one, you're going to have a statement that says if anything happens to this organization, if I pass away, if we decide to dissolve, if we move on, then what happens next? You have to have a statement that says, in case of dissolvency, this organization will either be given over to the state to determine what happens next. After all invoices, bills, all of my vendors have been paid, anything left from that, any assets, you have to state will either be turned over to the state for them to determine according to, and there's a whole specific there's a specific caveat, specific rule that you have to list in there. Or you have to say, or we're going to give it over to another nonprofit organization. If you don't have that statement in there, you will be rejected, nullified, you won't exist. So that's one. The other is that you have to show a nonprofit cause. It's not enough to say, I want to have nice cars, so I want to have a nonprofit so that I can buy them and be flashy. You will not get a nonprofit status for that. You have to show that you are either educational, that you are education is really the number one way that you can get it, but you can show that you are solving a community need. We all kind of know what a nonprofit should be doing, right? We kind of know, but you have to document it to show that the majority of your reasoning, the majority of your existence, the majority of your purpose is to do what? And what way are you giving back? And no one says that giving back has to be to humans, animals. No one cares about that part. What are you doing? Are you having tutoring services, after school programs, clothing drives? Are you doing food? Are you giving socks, shoes, education, information? What are you doing exactly? Right? So, as I've mentioned before, my former favorite nonprofit was always the NFL, the National Football League. They have always been my favorite. They gave up their designation some time ago. They gave it up. They had every right to have it, but they decided, we don't need these credits anymore. We're not going to have it anymore. So you sit back and you go, how is playing football doing good for the community? I'm sure there's some logical something in there somewhere, but that's not really what it's about. If you know, for every team, every cheerleader, every staff member, they all have an obligation. It's a part of their contract that they have to do things in the community. Period. So they give back a certain amount of dollars. They give back volunteer time. Like they do massive things for the Boys and Girls Club. They choose their organizations and they partner, right? So that's an example of, hey, it's a business first. It's a business that has to make money, but it's a business that does good. That's what you have to be. And you have to show in your articles, in your information, in your bylaws that you have a do gooder purpose. If you have those two things, you have the rest of that structure that we talked about, you too can be a nonprofit. Keep in mind, once again, you don't own it. So you have to show, after you've done the basics, right? We got our, we're incorporated by our state. We have our employee identification number. We have gone to the IRS and filed for our 501c, whatever your number is, based off of what type of organization or association you are. And then you're making sure in your documentation, in your application, you're sharing those two very important things. Tell me what they are one more time. You got it? No? Okay. One, you're going to make sure you state if this dissolves. If for any reason we walk away from this nonprofit, what happens to it? It has to either go back to the state or to another nonprofit. You cannot it's not a legacy item that you can just pass on from family member to family member unless they're on the board and that's a part of what they do. And keeping in mind, as I said last week, your board can fire you. So always be careful about who you bring along for the ride. And you're thinking that I want all these celebrities to be a part, because you can be fired very quickly, even though you created it. Okay. So you have to have that legacy plan for the organization, and you have to have something that says that you meet the basic criteria for being a nonprofit. You have to have what I call that do-gooder mission in your articles of incorporation. Okay. After that excitement, we're going to hear a couple of things here today, and then I'm going to come back in a little bit later and tell you about the legal pitfalls of artificial intelligence. See you in a sec.
Wouldn't it be convenient and safe to communicate with your dentist, pediatrician, medical doctor, or mental health professional anywhere you are without actually traveling to our medical centers?
Well, you can with a televisit at your local Capital Area Health Network. Call us at 780-0840 or
go to cahealthnet.org.
Find out how a televisit may be your best option. We are the Capital Area Health Network, the heart of the community.
Listen, Attorney Alex Taylor is a soldier in a suit, defending anyone with criminal charges, DUIs, and more. Call Alex Taylor, your soldier in a suit, at 804-500-5000.
I'm Alex Taylor. Don't face your criminal charges alone. Put a former prosecutor with 30 years of experience on your side. Let me show you how a soldier fights for your freedom.
Call 804-500-5000 or go to alextaylorlaw.com.
During these challenging times, Richmond Dentistry for Children wants to remind you that we've been here for you and your children for over 25 years. Your child's body is their temple, and their teeth are the doorway to good health. We provide compassionate pediatric dental care Monday through Friday. Call 804-780-2888 for your appointment, or come to our office at 300 West Broad Street. RichmondDentistryForChildren.com, serving Central Virginia. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I know in general I'm a bit of a geek, right? That's why I spend all this time every weekend trying to learn different software and working on different things and reading information and doing the research. But you get the benefit of all of my geekiness, okay? So right now there's this big push conversation discussion about AI. If you haven't heard it, that means you're living under a rock. And even then, I think the rocks have heard about it as well. So I don't know where you are if you haven't been hearing it. So here's the thing. We hear all about ChatGPT and AI and open source and Bard, and everyone's coming up with or has already been working on AI. It's just become really well recognized by everyone right now. Okay. So here's the thing. There was a recent ad that was created by a gentleman. His name is Kevin something. Meet Kevin, I think it's what he goes by. And so he is a social media influencer, does a bunch of things with marketing, etc. He is not an employee of Tesla. He has no association or affiliation with Tesla that I can see or note. But he created an advertisement for Tesla using Ryan Reynolds. Did Ryan Reynolds sign up and participate and come to the studio and create a commercial? No. Meet Kevin used artificial intelligence to input Ryan Reynolds into a Tesla commercial and put it out to the world. And the world responded with, Ryan, you need to sue this man for putting you out there, using your image, your likeness, and not saying that it was AI and not letting you know that it wasn't you. Right? So everyone thought that Ryan Reynolds had done a Tesla commercial. He had not, was not even aware of it. And so it became this whole conversation. So then we know our lovely founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, he responded, I think, on Twitter, and he basically said that, oh, that was nice. He didn't make the commercial. He didn't do anything. He had nothing to do with it, but that was his general response. So there's this general uproar that Ryan should respond. And how would you feel if someone just took your image or like this and put it into a commercial and blasted it out to the world? Like, how does that make you feel? I'm just saying. So Ryan Reynolds, being Ryan Reynolds, decides not to sue. Instead, his marketing company runs an ad for his gin label using Elon Musk. And I have to quote this because I thought this was the funniest thing. So it's not, I mean, it's sad, but come on, it's funny. So, but he puts it out there and this is what he says: two can court disaster with this game. Okay. So I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. And so that's the type of stuff that's happening out there, right? So we're chartering new territory where we're going where no man has gone before. I did watch Star Trek Beyond this weekend, in case you were curious. Okay. And so it's very interesting when you think about privacy, even as a public figure, that someone could utilize your image, your likeness, your voice using AI. So with that in mind, I really want you to think about it, not from the point where, oh, he's a star, he shouldn't care. Privacy, he still has rights to privacy. And especially if someone's making money off his image, you should get a part of that, or at least know that it's happening. I'm just saying. Okay, that's me. So if you're out there and you're going, oh, I really like that green-haired girl on WorkHARDaholics, I'm going to use her image. I will sue you. Just so you know. I will smile and sue. All righty then. Okay, so Inc., which I always think is an amazing magazine and online distributor, came up with these 5 legal pitfalls that you should avoid, especially when it comes to AI and your business. Right? And I thought they were great, which is why I'm sharing them. Okay, so first and foremost, fact check the information that AI generates. So for those of you who know, when you're putting in a prompt, it gives you back information. Some of them have been noted to lie, right? So I don't know if the programmer was just under so much pressure that they're just trying to make it and they somehow conveyed that to their, software. I'm not sure how it happens, but sometimes AI will actually make up information, period. And so I'm a big fan of having the references documented in whatever information I'm getting, but that doesn't always happen. So include it in your prompts to ask for like the sources, like where are you getting this information from? Because it could be from Dr. Seuss and that won't fly in court. I'm just saying. Okay. So make sure you fact check the information that AI is giving you. Number 2, don't generate images of celebrities. I don't think that one was too complicated to know, right? So when we talk about our image, our likeness, we'll sue you if you're trying to use the name WorkHARDaholics. And who are we compared to these other bigger brands that are out there and have been out there for some time? Don't bring in real people. Fine, generate an AI image of a fake face and mash you and your favorite celebrity into a person that you think could be, I don't know. But don't use real people without their permission. Do you know technically when you're out in the world and you're taking pictures, that you're supposed to get them to sign a waiver before you use it in anything? This is also why I like this. The one reason I like my Google Pixel, I have a Google Pixel 7a, 7 Pro. The only reason I like it is for the magic eraser. Other than that, Google, I'm not a fan. Okay. So don't generate images and utilize them. Consider copyright protections. So as of right now, the law is on the side to say that if a computer generated it, it's not copyrighted, period. If a computer created it, then it's open for anyone. But if you create something and you mix in something that you created as a human with an AI, something created, and mash it together, anything that you created, the person, can be copyrighted, can be trademarked, it can be protected. But that part that was AI created cannot be, and you have to document which part was created by AI. All right. Number 4, protect your IP. Protect your intellectual property. So here's a problem. A lot of times we're trying to get, ChatGPT or Jasper or whatever to emulate our voices. And so we put in a lot of our information. But as it turns out, that information is now something that your AI can use for somebody else. You need to think about that. So before you're putting in information that's proprietary, know that the moment that you give it to the computer, it's no longer proprietary. It seems so obvious, but it's so easily forgotten. That also means number 5, protect your customers' information. A lot of times we're like, oh, I want to create this message to go out to all of my subscribers. I want to do this. I want to share that. But if you're putting in their phone numbers, their email addresses, their names, once again, this is now information that is now in the cloud. It's not private. It's not protected. So be very aware of the information that you're sharing out there. I want to repeat all 5 again because I really thought these were great. So 1, fact check. You cannot depend on AI to make sure the facts are facts and not fake. 2, don't generate images of celebrities. 3, consider your copyright protections because I already said why. 4, protect your intellectual property. And 5, protect your customers. All right, now it's time for fashion and entrepreneurship with Ashley Jefferson.
Hello, and welcome back to Fashion and Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Ashley Jefferson, owner of Very Ashley. And on today's episode, we're talking about fashion and philanthropy. Guys, on June 25th, 2023, Very Ashley is presenting the Fashion and Philanthropy Sunday Soiree from 5 to 9 at the Hidden Oaks, a gorgeous wedding and event venue in North Chesterfield, Virginia. And I would love for you all to be there. So first of all, yes, this is a hard sell because I want you guys to log on to vastylemag.com to get your tickets for this lavish and fantastic soiree, which gives an honor to old Black Hollywood. You'll see 4 fashion shows. It's a plated dinner. You can get crab cakes or chicken or vegetarian dishes. Great music by Jay Baxter Music. Top to bottom, it's going to be a stellar occasion. But I mentioned that to also say this. In your business, you should consider having a philanthropic effort, some way that you give back. You can also start your own foundation with your business. Not only does this give you great interpersonal relationships with your customers, but it can also help you with your taxes. But that's on a whole nother episode. For this episode right here, I want to say this. People today are really concerned with the way that we give back to the community. Everything cannot be me, me, me anymore. It has to be me and you, us. How do we help you? To get customers, to get clients, you have to be able to give back, and you have to be able to give back to a cause that they're concerned about. So bringing it back to myself, because I was honest in saying this is a hard sell for the Fashion and Philanthropy Sunday Soiree. What we're giving our portion of our proceeds to is Partnership for the Future. Now, this is a nonprofit that helps kids go to college. They start them from high school all the way through college, and then even outside of college by helping them kind of get jobs and trying to become, dedicated members of society. I love that because I love entrepreneurship. College really helped me out in the entrepreneurship space. It can help you out too. But let's just say it doesn't, that's fine. What will help you out though is giving back. Figure out what it is that you can align yourself and your brand with in order to help the community. Again, I want to say this again. It's really important. Right now, millennials and Gen Zers are concerned with the way the world is. How are we giving back? They're concerned about these topics. Economy. They're also concerned about our ecosystem. That's what I was trying to say before, so sorry for that flub. They're also concerned about diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are things that you can consider giving back to. If you want to be a little saucy, you can step into the political space. Personally, I would tiptoe around that. But You know your niche, you know your brand, you know your market. You need to give back to the things that they are concerned about. And they should be concerned about the things that you are concerned about because you are your brand. Hello. So just to wrap this up really quickly, I'm going to hard pitch it again. Log on to vastylemag.com and get your tickets for the Fashion and Philanthropy Sunday Soiree this June 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Hidden Oaks. Portion of the proceeds is going to Partnership for the Future. It's an excellent nonprofit organization that gives back to those who are trying to go to college, and I am all for that. So I am Ashley Jefferson, owner of Very Ashley, logging on right now for this episode of Fashion Entrepreneurship on WorkHARDAholics. Oh, did I forget to tell you where you could find me? I did. Log on to vastylemag.com, or guess what? shopveryashley.com and Shop Very Ashley on all social media platforms. Speaking of this, our next episode, we're talking about social media and social media influencers. You better log on. I'll see you guys then.
And coming up next, we have financial news you can use from Lawrence Roberts.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lawrence Roberts with financial news you can use. Well, I have another letter here. This is a very important letter. Not that any of them are less important than the others, but this is something I think is on a lot of people's minds. Jack sent this letter in because he's been worrying about his retirement account from last year. He's been contributing money all year long, and he saw a $10,000 loss. Well, with that $10,000 loss, Jack, understand this. Yes, we can all talk about, hey, the market's going to turn around and all these other things and everything like that. But Jack, reality, this is what I'm going to tell you about that. They tell you, hey, to stop, because one of the things Jack asks about is, should he cut his loss and put all his money in a savings account? Well, Jack, you're contributing to your employer's work plan, your employer's 401k, your employer's retirement plan, and your employer is giving you a match. You're also getting free money, Jack. Don't turn down no free money. You understand me? Jack, do you hear me? And that's for all you other Jacks out there, James, or whoever you are. Don't turn down no free money. Always get the free money. Don't worry about it. Okay, if you're still not happy with it, talk to a financial professional about looking at your portfolio, look at the investments you have in it. Are you getting the best performance? Do you have the right investments attached to it? Because you can reallocate them. What's great about it is this. You're still contributing monthly because you're still working. Your employer is still contributing monthly because you're still working. You're still getting free money from your employer because you're contributing money. He's giving you a match. So don't turn down the free money. Understand that, Jack? You understand me? So with that being said, one of the things you also still look at is like preparing your money for hard times, financial uncertainty. Because truth be told, Jack, last year, equities was down. That's the investments, the stocks part of it in the investment portfolio. Bonds were down. Normally, it's like a seesaw. If equities are down, bonds are up. If bonds are down, equities are up. Jack, everything was down last year. I know you didn't want to hear that. No one really wants to hear that because you still lost a lot of money. But stay the course. Jack is 37. I'm sorry. Jack, if you're still working, you still have working years ahead of you. And for those people that's planning to retire in a year, okay. Unless your job is that bad, if you have to work another year, that's another year payment, another year that help increase your retirement account with the Social Security, because that is still going to be a part of your retirement plan. It may not be your main one. However, it's money that you put into for all your working years. You're going to take it. At one point, you're going to take that money, okay? So it's still preparing for uncertainty. Take the time to do that. Take the time to talk to a financial professional such as myself. Also, please understand this here, Jack. This one last thing. Just remember this. Even if you don't like me or don't like someone else, but take the time to talk to that financial person that handles your investments with your employer. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you. They're there to do your job, do their job. Make them work. They're going to work for you. That's their job. Talk to them. Reach out, because they're not going to call you on their own. They will call you. Actually, you got to call them. They may not call you, but they'll return a phone call when you call them, when you show an interest. It's your money. I can be reached at 804-746-3714. I also can be reached on my email, on my website, www.lawrencevroberts.com. Again, I'm Lawrence Roberts from New York Life with financial news you can use. Thank you.
Okay, once again, this has been WorkHARDaholics with your favorite WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford. And as we always say, live better, do better, be better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. 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 Thanks for tuning in to WorkHARDaholics. Support our show by following on YouTube and all major social media platforms at WorkHARDaholic. Until next week, happy entrepreneuring.